Now, what could be better than my Cynergy 15K shaft? Maybe a carbon fiber shaft that is smaller than a 12.5 millimeter tip. And who is BeCue anyways? Man, I need a haircut. Welcome to Pull Addiction, where I like to do pull and billiards equipment reviews as well as anything pull and billiards related for that matter. And here I am, feeding my addiction with another carbon fiber shaft review. This review came about for me a while back when I was really missing my 11 3/4 millimeter tip of my wood low deflection shaft. And at the time I did my research, the only carbon fiber shaft that came close to this size was the BeCue Prime M 12.0 millimeter. I made the purchase a few months ago, and I was unaware that the Pachara Rogue and the McDermott Defy were other options by that time with a smaller tip size than 12.5 millimeters. If y'all remember from the first carbon fiber shaft review I did, the Predator Revo, I wanted to try a carbon fiber shaft to see if it could give me the same playing characteristics of my 11 3/4 millimeter wood low deflection shaft, but in a bigger tip size in the 12.4 millimeter. Well, it's been nice and all, and I think it comes really close, but to be honest, I was really missing having that smaller tip. Now, the reason why I like smaller tip sizes is twofold. First, I like the ability to get more English when I need it. And second, and the most important to me, is I like a smaller tip because I can see better when I'm hitting the cue ball, and it just helps with that aiming. Now, this is how I like to play, and not everybody likes smaller tips, and to each their own. I know the degree of difficulty does go up with a smaller tip when shooting, but that's just the way I like to play. So now that you have the rationale as to why I got this shaft, let's get into this review. But first, let's talk about this company because not too many people in the US know too much about BeCue. BeCue is a company that is based out of Italy, and they broke out into the pull scene about 4 years ago in the US. They started off with making a cue based on a new technological design, and they basically wanted to redesign the cue and build it from the ground up. They sponsor some pros over in Europe, and a couple of Americans have been seen with their products, particularly Dennis Hatch when he was using their brake cue in the 2017 Mosconi Cup. But enough about the company's background. Let's talk about what they bring to the table with this Prime M shaft. The BeCue Prime M is a carbon fiber shaft that comes in two different tip sizes, a 12mm and a 12.5mm. BeCue's shaft's claim to fame is their own Aurora front-end technology that, in combination with their Vision plug ferrule, makes the shaft 17% lighter and gives it great elasticity compared to other BeCue shafts. You think when you're competing against other big-name brands, you would compare your product to theirs and not your own products. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud again. They also claim it has revolutionary deflection. The company does not go into any further details when it comes to the design of this shaft or any further details of the Aurora front-end technology and what it is. All in all, they say this shaft will give you improved spin with less effort. I have to give this company credit in that it seems like this design isn't the run-of-the-mill carbon fiber shaft. Oh, and by the way, the price of this bad boy is $500, which that puts it in the league of the Predator Revo and the Q-Tech Cynergy shafts. The packaging the shaft comes in is just a nice black cardboard box, nothing special. And it also comes with this patch here. Now, the shaft, I've already had it out of the package because I've been playing with it. This one is a Prime 12.0, and the 12.0 stands for the tip size, being a 12mm tip size. Just like how the Predator Revo differentiates between the 12.4 and the 12.9 variations. Taking a look at the shaft, the first thing you notice when compared to the other carbon fiber shafts is it has its own definite matte finish. If you look closely to the finish, it looks like it's trying to mimic real wood grain. However, just below the ferrule, the finish is a bit more glossy, and especially when it's compared to the rest of the surface of the shaft. The taper of the shaft is a pro style taper, and it's nice. The ferrule is what BeCue calls as their vision plug, and it's a clear acrylic material that actually goes down into the shaft just a little bit. It comes with BeCue's own tip, which they've named the core, and it's a medium tip. The Prime M comes in 3 different joint types: radial, unilock, and 3/8 by 10. It also comes in 2 different tip sizes, the 12.0 and the 12.5. I did the measurements on this shaft, and the weight is 4¼ ounces. It's 29.5 inches long overall length. The tip is actually 12.03 millimeters, and the Pro Taper extends down the shaft about 16 inches. And lastly, the joint width is 0.838 inches. So that's it with the overhead and the specs of the BeCue Prime M. So let's see how this thing plays. I've had this shaft since January and didn't really get a whole lot of time playing with it until this whole lockdown pandemic thing started. Since the lockdown began though, I've pretty much been playing solely with this shaft. I did play with it a little bit when I first got it and wrote down some initial thoughts back then. So let's hear what I thought about it back then and compare to what I think about it now. The tip looks smaller than a 12 millimeter tip, and it could be because I'm used to a 12.4 millimeter tip now. I still kind of feel that way. It feels like an 11.75 millimeter tip, and it definitely plays like it. The finish is rougher than the other carbon fiber shafts. It's smooth in the hand though. It also has an audible noise in the bridge hand when stroking. That's still true, and like I said in the overview, this finish has a texture that mimics a wood grain, which makes the finish a little rougher, and that's what's causing this audible noise when stroking. It's not as slick as the others, and I like the smoothness of the Cynergy shaft the most, and in my opinion, that is the best carbon fiber shaft finish I've tried so far. Overall, in my opinion though, this finish is okay, and it's definitely not a deal breaker. You could use a glove with it and probably not notice it, but it's not a huge deal if you don't use a glove with it either. The finish is a little shinier below the ferrule, a little bit glossier, and it's a little distracting. This is also still true, and I don't think this was an intentional thing that BeCue tried with this thing. And it makes you wonder about the consistency and the quality of the product. And that's what a lot of people are concerned with when it comes to these carbon fiber shafts, is the consistency of the material between the batches, and even between the batches that the manufacturers make themselves. Now, as far as the distraction though, I don't really notice it anymore, so it's not that big of a deal, and it is a small minor difference in finish. It doesn't have a white ferrule. I still would like a white ferrule better. However, I've been getting used to playing with this, and even though it has a clear ferrule and it doesn't help as much with the sighting as the white ferrule does, it does help a little bit, and as a result, I've gotten used to it. There's no pad between the ferrule and the tip. The Revo and the Cynergy that I reviewed each had some kind of pad between either the vault plate or the ferrule, and this one doesn't. I don't think it matters. I believe the shaft was designed not to have one, and as a result, I don't think it makes a difference. The tip is good. Here's where I changed my opinion from my initial thoughts. The core tip is just like the other shafts that I've tried. I just don't like it. It felt good at first, but then it started quickly glazing over shortly after I started playing with it regularly. I've had other friends that have had a Prime M shaft, and they have had the tip flatten on them pretty easily. I didn't really experience the flattening too much, but the glazing made it difficult to keep scuffed and hold chalk. I've since replaced the tip with a Kamui Black Soft, and I feel that that's the tip that's meant to be on this shaft. The joint is solid. This is still true. It screws down nice and secure, and a real secure fit. The hit feels solid and good feedback from the shaft, and it feels real natural. Now, how do I feel about the hit after some time with it? I think it's really great. I love it. It never had a tink noise when I hit, and it's just a very solid hit. One thing I did experience though is with really hard hitting shots where I had to have my bridge hand a little further back than normal, it would make a little vibrating type of feel, and that was right after the hit. No tink, just a vibration like the shaft was flexing from the hit, and that's what LD shafts tend to do when you put a lot of muscle into the shot, and that's why they're not very good for jump shots. That's all my initial thoughts that I wrote down. So is there anything else I can add to this? Well, the action's pretty good. The shaft is not as good as the Revo, but it's better than the Cynergy when it comes to the action. Now, to get good English and movement with the ball, it's not just the shaft that helps with this. The tip plays a significant role as well. And then once I put on the Kamui Black, the action got a little bit better, and it definitely has some good action now. The balance is really good as well. It didn't throw off my balance when I was stroking, and it wasn't annoying at all. Very well balanced. The hit is very solid. It's not too soft and it's not too crisp. And as a comparison with the Cynergy shaft has a softer hit than the Prime M. So if you're looking for something a little bit crisper, this is definitely a good shaft for that. So what's the final verdict on this BeCue Prime M 12.0 carbon fiber shaft? I really like it, and I like it for different reasons than why I really like the Cynergy shaft. It hits really good, and it does have a harder hit than the Cynergy. The Cynergy has a softer hit, but I like the Prime M's hit just a little bit more. The standard tip that comes with the Prime M, I definitely don't like. Go with the Kamui Black, you'd be a lot happier. The balance is good, and even though the matte finish I really like on the Prime M, I do like the Cynergy finish a little bit better because I like how slick it is. Plus, the shinier finish just below this ferrule, that's a bit of a head scratcher to me. There's no white ferrule, however, some of you don't even care about that. But having a smaller tip is why I love this shaft. And if you are into smaller shafts like I am, it's a really good option if you're looking in the carbon fiber shaft market. In my opinion, it hits really, really solid. Now, just like other carbon fiber shafts though, this thing is expensive, and it comes in at $500. So if you have the money and you want to try a carbon fiber shaft, go for it, but I wouldn't break the bank for it. Now, if you're new to LD shafts though, I definitely would not recommend this. Go with a cheaper wood LD shaft like the HXT Skinny first, and see if you like LD shafts, because not everybody likes them. And then if you like how the LD shafts react, go for a carbon fiber shaft down the road. All that said, I give this thing 2 thumbs up, and I think this shaft is definitely looking like a regular player for me in the near future. That is, until I find another shaft, carbon fiber shaft, I want to try. Now, this review of the BeCue Prime M and what it brings to the table is not meant to be an apples to apples comparison between the different carbon fiber shafts I've reviewed so far. I will be doing a video series showdown specifically geared towards the direct comparison of the carbon fiber shafts I've reviewed, as well as my HXT Skinny and a regular shaft as a reference. If you want to buy this thing, it can be a little bit difficult in the US. There is a couple non-affiliated links in the description below, and I know a dealer that can get you one. So if you want to go through my contact, shoot me an email, which will be in the description below as well. Now, as always, I bought this with my own money, and there's no sponsorship or affiliation whatsoever. And if you like this video, hit the like button, and if you have any questions or comments, put them in the comments section below. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, why aren't you not subscribed yet? Please do so, and I'll see y'all in the next one.